Welcome to Was It Real? The Hills Rewatch, Season 1, Episode 3, An Unexpected Call. Today we have producer extraordinaire Andrew Perry. He's going to be joining us. Andrew is a reality producer veteran working on such shows as Road Rules, The Rachel Zoe Project, Big Rich Atlanta, Real Housewives of New York, Florida Bama Shore, and of course, The Hills.
Andrew, we love you.
Oh,
No,
that's so nice.
We miss you.
Thank
Andrew, you also studied film and literature at Antioch College.
Yep.
And during your time there, you began working at Marvel Comics and took a job there upon graduating. Now you're an executive producer on Buckhead Shore, which will be premiering on MTV at the end of June. And it takes place in Atlanta and is made by the same production company that produces Jersey Shore.
That is all true. And
Love
thank
that.
you for the introduction.
And as
Love
you
that.
know, we will be discussing what was real and what was not real. And we will go through the episodes. And we have Andrew here for that, and who will be coming to fact check us, right?
Right.
And so welcome, Andrew. We are very, very, very happy to have you.
Thank you. I'm super happy to be here. It's
You-
nice to see you all
You are
again.
our first guest.
Wow. I'm honored. Thank
So
you
welcome.
Yes.
sincerely.
He needs a shot, Frankie.
Yeah.
Can you take a shot? By the way,
no.
so this is what we do here, Andrew. I don't care
Yeah.
what you say.
Okay.
I got shots ready for
No,
you.
it's great.
And you can take
I
Oh,
can
great.
take
All of
this
it?
shot?
yeah,
You
all the
can
way
sip it.
all the way down.
Yeah.
Take it
Come
all.
on.
No, this is what
okay.
we're gonna do. We're gonna start the show differently today.
Okay.
We're gonna take a shot.
Are
Oh,
we?
Well,
Are we?
I will.
All right.
You want one? I got another one for you.
I
Don't
mean,
worry
it's
about
a
it.
mamita shot, so
That's
I can
delicious.
handle, I
Thank
can
you.
handle
Here,
this
you
shot.
got one?
Very
Give her-
delicious.
Yeah,
So salute to
spicy.
Andrew for being with us here.
Andrew,
This is one
Cheers,
of many
brother.
shots.
Cheers.
legend.
Thank you.
Legend.
It's a pleasure to be
Legend.
here.
We've never actually got to drink together, Andrew. This is a
No,
first.
right, it
I
is.
know.
You know,
I'm
because
sure
we don't
you
want
wanted
to. We
to.
don't want to.
That
We
is
don't want to
spicy,
cross
Lord.
that line between producers and cast, of course.
So welcome, man. Thank you for
Thank
being
you.
here.
It's really nice to be here.
Thinking back to season 1, episode 1, 2, and 3, even season 1, it's like that was 16 years ago.
That's a while.
Yeah, and I know we filmed a lot before even like it was released. What was it, like almost a year or something before it actually?
I think we premiered in June, and I know that we were shooting before sometime in the fall
Mhm.
because they shot the pilot in the fall, and then I came on around Christmas, and we hadn't finished one episode besides the pilot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember Brian and Jordan didn't invite it. They didn't invite me to the premiere of the show, and I was actually really
Sincerely?
mad. How was I not gonna be mad when like these kids literally like were like going to all my clubs every night, hang out at my house. We would play basketball every day, and then I didn't get like, hey, dude, you should come to the premiere with us. Still mad at them, but it is what it is.
Oh man, that's
They didn't want you to
Forget
steal
and
their
move on.
thunder.
I
don't know how
They knew
far
if
this
Frankie came around.
Yeah, I don't know how far the podcast goes, but we should probably go find them and
And
beat
Bring
them,
them
I guess.
on.
Or is that? Can you
Yeah.
say that now? Yeah.
Well, you know what? Something's gonna.
course.
I'm gonna put them here, and I'm gonna put them through like a whole like sob story here because they owe me an apology for that.
Yeah, it seems
Audrina,
like you're
have
holding
you been
on to
reading the book?
that.
Just finished the second
Your
page of your
second
book,
page, every podcast video, Frankie's going to read a page of my book.
so I could say I
It's
read
going
it.
to take
Right.
First book I'll ever read.
like 200 days.
First book I'll ever
200
read.
episodes.
Oh,
You got to start somewhere, and that's it seems like a good place,
Yes,
frankly.
I'm
Yeah.
more of a movie guy. You know,
Yeah.
I like to watch movies, and I like to see really like.
What's
where
your favorite movie of all time?
Probably Wedding Crashers.
It's not a bad one.
What's yours?
You know what? It's so funny. It's changed a little bit, but for a while it was The Count of Monte Cristo.
That's a
Ooh.
great
wow.
movie.
That's like the tale of revenge and just that whole story was just.
And then
incredible.
my
I don't
other
know.
one is Edward Scissorhands.
Oh, that's a good.
Yeah.
What about you,
Okay, I haven't seen
Andrew?
that.
I'm a Godfather fan.
Ooh,
I'll
that's
take the
good.
first two.
Have
That's a
you
good
watched
one.
The Offer yet?
I'm watching it right now.
How incredible is it?
It's fascinating. I think it's it's an okay show, but you know all these backstories and you see these guys come to life. It is a trip, though.
Shout out
Yeah.
to Miles Teller for that one, man. He
Yeah.
really hit a home run for me.
He's been getting a lot of press lately.
And,
huh?
and Top Gun, by the way, which he absolutely crushed it as well.
Oh,
Oh, so
yeah,
that's why
I
he was in Top
noticed.
Gun. I see him
And
everywhere right now.
It's called The
Okay.
Offer. It's the show about making The Godfather,
Mhm.
and it's like all the backstory of like how it actually got made,
Oh wow.
which
that
is
would be cool.
incredible, dude. The whole story, I had no clue about
Oh,
all
really?
that stuff.
Yeah, it's
like
a
how,
trip.
Yeah,
A lot of
I
fighting
gotta
made
rewatch
that.
that. It's been a while since I've seen that one.
Yeah, I need to rewatch
How
all
about
of
you,
those.
Audrina, if I may? Can we throw the question to you?
Yeah.
Oh, you want to know what my favorite?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I love Dirty Dancing and Gladiator.
Yes.
Nice. That's
I
a
like
good
both.
double
Gladiator's
feature,
a
frankly.
great one,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
Gladiator, I love that one. Andrew, wait.
Have you guys ever
Russell
dirty danced?
Oh my god! Actually,
Actually,
I'm drinking.
Maybe,
guys, sorry.
maybe that one.
in Costa Rica. No.
Oh wait, was it?
We all. Do you remember when we all went dancing on the beach and
That
we
was-
got?
yeah.
Was it Hawaii
They wanted
or
to beat
Costa Rica?
us up and they chased us. All the locals chased us, and me
Costa
and the
Rica.
girls were hiding in the van, and you guys were
Costa
like,
Rica. I had to go like befriend them and be cool because
Yeah,
I
like-
was speaking Spanish to them. They weren't happy that we were all
they
there.
chased us out wanting to
We went
fight.
to, like,
That's
this,
so
like,
weird.
weird,
I
like-
barely remember
It
that.
was like a
That's-
local party.
And we were all
crashed it.
dancing in the rain. It was raining,
It was-
and we
it
were
was so
dancing on the
dope, by the
beach.
way.
It was
Costa
so
Rica was
fun.
incredible.
Yeah,
That was one of my favorite trips.
Mine
That
too.
was the first time we got in trouble for hanging out, wasn't it? When you stayed in my room and then they tried to...
No, that was Hawaii.
No, that
It was
no,
Costa Rica,
Costa
was
Rica
after.
too.
Costa Rica. No, because we stayed up all night by the pool talking and I had a migraine.
Again, there's something talking all night. by the
all right,
twice.
Andrew,
Romantic
let's
So we
get
stayed
back
up all
to
night
you.
twice.
Hey,
No.
yeah. We like to talk.
twice in a row that day. By the way, that weekend.
Oh my gosh.
Stop.
So,
Enough.
Andrew.
Yes.
Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
Andrew,
So,
so I
what
wanna-
was the first was that the first reality show, The Hills, that you actually like worked on, or was there
No,
one prior?
I worked on a show called Road Rules, which was sort of a
remember that
real
one.
world spin-off or
Mhm.
offshoot. I was working at MTV as an assistant we were booking talent for events like the movie awards and the VMAs. And down the hallway was Buna Murray, which makes Real
Mhm.
World. And I got to know their assistant, and they were starting this pilot for Road Rules. And I thought, wow, that seems way better than sitting on a desk and answering phones. And so I did the first 3 seasons of that. That was the first one I did.
That's right, because that was on air, and then what was the other one where people lived the real world? They
Yeah, The
lived in
Real
the
World.
houses, and you have cameras
That's the
everywhere.
original. Is
Yeah,
that still
that-
on or no? Did they
I don't
finally?
know.
Wasn't it the
It-
longest running reality show ever in
It-
history? And
it
the
was.
first one and the longest one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It went away, it came back, and there's some iterations of it now.
Okay.
Huh.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, and then Jessica and Nick Lachey had their show,
Right.
and then The Hills.
Yeah, the
Kind of.
Osbournes
No, the
were in
Or the
there too.
Osbournes.
Yeah.
Those were the original family, like
The OGs.
Followed.
Yeah.
That was a great show.
great show. Simple Life was right around there too, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, The Simple Life was trying to do a comedy, with The Hills and Adam DeVello, who created it, was trying to make a show that was showing these 4 young women, of which you were one, how they were living in Hollywood and what it was like there. Like that was the true idea of the show.
And I remember he would always bring up Sex in the City. He kind of wanted it to be like Sex in the City, but like a younger version of it in LA.
He did. And a real version.
Yeah,
He
a
totally
real one.
wanted. He
Mhm.
wanted that vibe of sort of fun, and also sort of first time experiencing the city or a relationship that has meaning, or he wanted some foundation that it wasn't just let's just go to Ledoux and drink.
Right.
Yeah.
So who was Miranda in the show?
I wasn't.
I don't have
I
the
don't
answer to
know.
that for you.
Wait,
Sorry.
We know Brody was big.
Oh my
gosh.
Frankie, you are
No?
just a riot. I love you.
Is what it is.
It is what it is.
All
It is
right.
very
Well,
Frankie.
enough.
Maybe I was Miranda.
Yeah.
No, don't say it. No.
Definitely not.
Well, one of you guys was.
Frankie needs another shot.
Great idea.
So that's how you were approached for The Hills? Just from working on Road Rules and then
I was working on you remember the great show Laguna Beach, of course.
Mhm.
They were trying
Incredible
to,
show.
yeah, I really love that show.
Me too.
And they were trying to make a special about just the triangle of Lauren, Kristen, and Steven. And I was brought in to sort of look at the footage they had and see if we could make like an hour and a half movie out of that triangle. And down the hallways play a big role, obviously. Down the hallway was they were editing the pilot to The Hills. And I was watching it and thinking, wow, that is a really cool show. It was even sort of going further than Laguna was in its storytelling. It looked so good. And so I asked Adam, if this gets picked up, I'd love to work on it. and it did get picked up. So
Yeah, I would say that was one of the coolest things about The Hills was the way it was shot, right? Like, because I remember when Laguna Beach came out, people really did not know, was this a sitcom? Is this a reality show? Because it wasn't just your typical follow around.
Cinematic.
Right, very
Yeah.
cinematic, beautifully shot. And I think that was one of the things that was a standout for reality television at that time period, for sure.
Oh, completely.
Yeah.
It was like a pioneer, sincerely. I mean, I'm happy it looked gorgeous, and we definitely learned from Laguna. We had Hisham, who was the same DP for both shows,
Yep.
and there was some overlap of producers too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
So
And
that's
then
crazy.
what was Sean Travis?
Sean Travis,
who
yeah.
was
yeah.
on it?
Sean. It was Adam. Adam had the idea. I think Sean was. I'm not sure if Sean was on the pilot as well. But he came in he was an EP as well. I was just a producer at that time.
Okay.
But it was, Sean sort of oversaw the post of it, and Adam was focused on the field of the shooting of
Mhm.
it. He wasn't always coming out,
Yeah.
but he
So-
was conscious of it
Well, I
and knew what
remember
we want.
Adam showed up at the heavy scenes where he needed to be like, this is what you're doing.
Right.
Get in there, Audrina. Like, you're not getting out of this. Walk into the party. I was like, no, I don't want to.
That was I think he also started knowing that his presence was also letting cast know that there was something big going
Oh,
down.
yeah.
But no, he knew what he wanted. He knew how, and he does still, what he wants from the scene and what's the shortest way we can get there, you know?
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, he was a genius, and he still probably is doing whatever.
Selling Sunset
Selling
is
Sunset,
like
right.
huge. And
Yeah.
it's like the
it's
same.
the number one show on
Netflix.
Netflix right now, right?
And that's
Which-
like,
And those
But
are my
for a
boys,
while,
by
he
the way.
wasn't
Those
doing
those
the
guys are
opera.
at the club with me at
Oh,
Hyde.
the
They came to my birthday the other day, and those guys are like super funny,
why did
super
you
nice.
invite me to your birthday,
Stop it.
Frankie?
did you not
Stop.
invite Audrina to
No,
your
I
birthday?
wasn't invited.
That's just not true.
That's true.
He didn't
That's just
send you
not
the
true.
text. I got the text. I got the.
Unless you sent it to an old number. I don't know.
I sent
do
it to
have
I
a
you.
think
couple-
that's Frankie told me that's what happened.
I'll give you
man.
the benefit
Yeah.
of the doubt. I
You-
love you, Frankie.
You actually did. Remember, I texted you, Audrina. You didn't reply, so I think you might have sent it to the old number. I think that was.
Yeah.
I think that's what happened.
Okay,
How many
we're not
numbers
gonna
do you
do
have?
How many numbers do you
Jesus
have right now?
Christ.
Two numbers.
Why?
We're not
Why
gonna-
two?
We'll get into that later.
Oh, okay. Oh,
But you have two numbers,
I'm
right?
transitioning
Okay.
because
that's
I
what
can't
we-
really let go of that one because of someone in my past
Okay.
that I don't
Okay,
want to
okay.
speak of. Yeah.
Justin Bobby.
No.
I mean-
he has.
Oh, wow. We jumped into that pretty quickly.
Oh my
Oh my
Honestly,
goodness.
I apologize if I didn't invite
It's
you.
okay.
It was more of a like everybody just was like getting thrown into like it's Hyde, like everyone's invited. The more the merrier type of
Yeah.
feeling, and
I mean, I think I
And
was
you
at
just-
the
you
New
should have
Kids on
slipped
the
your
Block
mind.
concert, anyways,
yeah, I'm sure that you would
You're
have.
Where?
which was
In the past.
wild.
Yeah. Wait,
No,
what?
like on Saturday.
Oh, I like your 80s
Yeah.
look you got going on right now.
Thanks.
I know that is a cool look.
But no, how much of the Hills stories do you plan out ahead of time?
Well, a super good question, and I have to go now.
Yeah.
Which
Oh.
was the
Thank you for
Yeah,
You're right. It was great
This
seeing
is a
you all.
good
I gotta run.
question.
Yeah,
Because
anyway.
I feel like the original Hills, like it didn't seem planned to us because we were only given like a time and a location. So we didn't know if there were storylines or anything. We just knew we were supposed to be there and have fun or address whatever happens.
That's
know.
how it began, and
Mhm.
there is an evolution to the storytelling for sure.
shout out to
but-
Alex.
Yeah, but to that season and to the first few seasons, we were trying to make a show out of your lives. And I think, and the place I usually begin with this is, it's not a documentary. We're not trying to make a documentary. We're trying to make a TV show that you want to watch.
Yeah.
And so nobody's life unfolds like a book and everything's hitting the point. So we were trying to focus on what things do we need. So we would shoot with you. We'd tell you, you and Brian are going to go out on a date or some version of
remember
that or
that
whatever
date.
it is. Right. And then we would shoot that and see how that goes. And
Yeah.
it would be like a sense of discovery. And then from that, we would go like, well, do we need a scene where Brian tells
Jordan how it
Jordan,
went.
hey, I like Audrina, or I don't like her, or we would, we're shooting
Yeah.
things, definitely out of order and then melding it in the edit to create a story that you could watch. I mean, I don't have any true guilt about this. It was like, we're trying to make it interesting. We have real cast members. We have stories that, when we started and, through a lot of it are real.
This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp. These past few years have been a whirlwind with so much uncertainty, stress, anxiety, and sometimes loneliness. BetterHelp Online Therapy will help assess your needs and can match with your own licensed professional therapist in less than 48 hours. I loved how easy it was to find the right therapist for me. All you do is they ask you a few questions on their website. They match you with someone quickly. It's private. It's done from the comfort of your own home, which I personally prefer. And you can log into your account, schedule appointments, and send messages to your therapist who gets back to you in a timely manner. And we have a special offer for the Hills listeners. Get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/thehills. Visit betterhelp.com/thehills. That's better, HELP, and join over 2 million people who have taken charge of their mental health with the help of an experienced professional. That's betterhelp.com/thehills for 10% off your first month.
We've all had some struggles with our skin. For me, I get a little shiny. So we're excited to have partnered with Apostrophe, the sponsor of this episode.
Apostrophe is a prescription skincare company that offers science-backed oral and topical medications that are clinically proven to help clear acne. At Apostrophe, an expert dermatology team will create a personalized treatment plan that is perfectly tailored to your unique skin.
The process is easy. Just go to Apostrophe's website, take their online quiz about your skincare goals and medical history, snap a few photos, and a board-certified dermatologist will put together a treatment plan for you. I have to say, I personally love their sunscreen, for me, because I'm in the sun a lot. It's nice and hydrating on the skin. It's nice.
Yes, love their sunscreen, Brody. I love how simple and easy it is to just sign up, and it's nice to know that you're getting a tailored plan from a real dermatologist.
Yeah, my skincare routine has definitely changed, and Apostrophe has really helped improve my skin texture. And we have a special deal for our audience. Save $15 off your first visit with an Apostrophe provider at apostrophe.com/hills when you use our code HILLS. This code is only available to our listeners.
That's apostrophe.com/hills and use that code HILLS to get your first dermatologist crafted treatment plan for $5. And we thank Apostrophe for sponsoring this podcast.
But we're also shooting things that need some help. Part of shooting a show that had no interview bites is there would be times where we would think of a scene as an interview bite as a producer. So the real event might be, some fight, somebody falls down the stairs, whatever it is. That's a real event. Nobody said, please go fight. No one said, fall down the stairs.
Well, it's like the Heidi and Lauren fight.
Right.
That was real.
Unplanned.
Spencer punching Dave's, or who did he punch in the face?
Stephanie's
Yeah, Cameron or something, right? Yeah,
Cam Houston.
Was he there?
Cam. No, I just remember when Spencer. I remember we weren't really talking at that time, but I remember he really punched him in the face.
Yeah, but then you have to recap it the next day, get each version, and then usually you guys would make those two people get back together and confront each other.
Correct.
Yeah.
Which that's awkward.
And
it's so hard for people to want to like, you're so mad at that person and you just don't want to, like, it's just not easy to like get a cast to want to agree to like, okay, well, we had that drama. Now you got to go face that person and talk about the drama, which you're like, nah.
But that makes good TV.
Well, that's it.
I know, but it's a whole mental game for everybody. Like, everybody has to, like, I think that at some point you're like, nah, man, I don't want to talk to that person ever again in my life. And it's like, they effed me over and that's it. And I'm sure that like you and Spencer just wouldn't shoot together. You guys, there was no scenes for a while.
Yeah.
And you guys had such good camaraderie that sometimes that to me, like I was like, well, how do you mend that relationship? It's going to be hard.
Yeah, it was. It was tough. It was tough shooting with it. I mean, like, even when we started shooting again, it was still like so
Baby
much
steps.
and our friendship still needed to be fixed that it was like, but then we're talking about a scene or something in my personal life. I remember when we did the remake with my, Caitlin at the time, my girlfriend, I guess, wife, girlfriend, whatever you want to call it. It wasn't legal. Yeah, my partner. Anyway, but yeah, that was talking to him about those sort of things that were, I've been with Caitlin for 6 years at this point, and she was didn't talk to Spencer once, but trying to have these scenes with him talking about a relationship that he really knows nothing about, or that was awkward to say the least, you know.
Yeah, I mean, as a producer, it's not the pleasantest part, but we're driving story. You know, like it's not like I'm jonesing to see you talk to Spencer or whoever you're feeling a beef with, but I know I know that's what the audience kind of wants too. You know, is like, can I have a do-over? Can I figure this out? And how big is that riff? You know, like, and sometimes it's real. Yeah. It's a real big riff, you know?
I'm sure even with voiceovers, like I remember certain things wouldn't add up. So we'd had to go in and do like voiceovers to make it like flow or make
Correct.
sense.
Yeah, so at the top of the show, Lauren does the recap of what happened before. Mm-hmm. And then there will be scenes where we all know what's happening. It's like, let's all meet and go to Ledoux, but nobody ever says that. And that's what the scene is.
Yeah.
And so we need someone to do that. And that's, these are all just pieces to me of telling a story. Again, we're trying to make it feel real and also be honest in who you guys are too, you know?
I have a question.
Yeah.
What do you think about all the blank stares that we're known for? Like there's so many.
Well, that's part of our editing is to try to make, if I called you a name and then you came back and laughed, great. But if for storytelling I want it to resonate, then it's a shot of you with a frown, saying anything.
Yeah.
You know, it's like it's a sort of silent go screw yourself, which is makes the scenes really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I'm not trying to. We're creating things, but we're trying to stay in the world of, they weren't getting along, or whatever that is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that makes sense.
I say stare away.
I mean, it was funny because we got so much.
But it was a meme that it made you even bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They knew how to make you guys superstars.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're watching something, and as a viewer, you're thinking, "Oh, this is exactly what happened." Well, guess what? That date wasn't 1 minute and 45 seconds long.
It was like a 3-hour date.
Nor was that scene or that event. But we're trying to get some essence of it that's giving you that feeling.
Yeah.
And I think The Hills did that.
So I have a question, I guess, outside the box, just because I have to ask this to all my guests. And you being the first one, right? I already knew that I wanted to do this. My question to you is, it's probably the question that all your friends, everybody that knew that you worked on this show, what was it? Was it real, right?
Right.
So what do you answer? How do you say it as real as you can get with this?
I say that it was, I say these are real people. We're trying to tell a story. Okay. And I also say, as I did, it's not a documentary. So I think there are real moments in every show. There are some shows that have much more of that. The Heidi Lauren fight that was real, the You Know What You Did, that thing, that was a real moment. That was
my birthday, highest rated show ever.
That's what I meant. I meant Frankie's birthday episode. And sorry, I should have called it that.
Happened.
Yes, exactly.
Guys, come on.
Super real. So I have places I can go that say, there are real parts of it. But I also know that we would take scenes around that after it happened to pump it up and to show you why this is happening. And I don't know Heidi feeling the need to go do that, but she did, And there are also, there are other things, as I'm sure you guys have been there. When a stranger comes up to you or someone you think, are we shooting with this person? And they've got a mic on, you're like, I guess I'm doing a scene with this guy.
Yeah,
right.
And so in real, I would just say it's an enhanced arena that we shoot in.
That's what Liz Gately and Tony DeSanto, they kind of said exactly what you did.
Yeah.
Like when the show ended. Because when the show ended, they show Brody and then it's like, it's very tongue-in-cheek.
Honestly, I think it's the most epic ending to any show I've ever seen, because it was shot so perfectly, and the way that you guys let it go with Christian's going away, and you're all sad, like a little puppy.
And then it's like you're on a set.
And you're on a set.
Pulls back.
She pulls back, and
very
then you
clever.
guys go and bang or something. And
that was fun. What the fuck?
Wow, that was the
Oh my God.
yeah,
No?
that's the DVD extra.
I don't think so. No, I
That's
think
in
at
the
that,
DVD
I think
extra.
yeah, I think at that point we
Oh
were
my
just
gosh.
friends, Frankie. And
Oh,
we,
yeah.
Oh.
All you and your friends that you
Well,
talked
we-
so deeply.
Well, Kristen and I dated way in the past. You know, it was Kristen. I thought that was Lauren when we did
No,
that.
it was
'Cause
Kristen
no,
at
it's
the
Kristen's
end.
leaving.
There were
She
two
was Kristen in
endings.
the
It
end,
was
right? It
Kristen
There were
was.
two
Right?
endings.
Oh, and then because we
No, and
shot
then
it.
you have Lauren
Well, we
waiting for
shot
the
it.
vet.
We shot
On
an
Holly-
alternate ending. I think there was two different endings. It was
Oh.
one of me saying goodbye to Kristen and then
Did both?
meeting up with Lauren, who's back at the condo, and the other ending was just it closing out with the backdrop. It wasn't me going, but yeah, there was two endings, and they ended up going with the one where the backdrop went away.
I gotta
That's
go
what happened.
rewatch that one. I can't wait to talk about that one when it actually happens.
Yeah.
What's
Maybe
this?
Maybe we'll come back for that
I would
one.
love
huh,
to come
Andrew?
back for that. But
Yeah. What's this show Buckhead Shore?
Buckhead Shore.
Yeah, was this like a Jersey Shore thing?
It is
or
like a
this- I
Jersey
want- tell
Shore
us about
thing.
this.
Unlike Jersey, which is a group of strangers who move into a house, this is a friend group from Atlanta who've known each other since like late high school. They're all in their
I
mid
love Buckhead.
20s.
That's a good little area.
They're all from Buckhead. Different, some are crazy rich, some are just regular kids. And they all go to this summer house last summer, and we shot it. And we're editing that right now, and there'll be 10 episodes. Comes out in about the end of June. It's a fun show. There's a lot of. It's different than Jersey because they're not Italian, but it's still worth watching.
What's the one that I'm spacing right now? But the one wasn't Kristen kind of like hanging out with one of the guys?
North Carolina or something.
What's
they
that
shoot,
one? That was they all
No,
meet
the
up
one
at
in
this.
where's Jason Waller living now?
Nashville.
It's
no,
in Nashville, the
but
show.
she was talking to one of the guys
From the
from the
Nashville show.
Carolinas.
Southern Charm.
Southern Charm.
Southern Charm.
That's
That's what it
it.
was. Yeah, I watched that. I was into that.
You like that one?
I mean, yeah. I mean,
I became boys
It's
with
like-
a couple of those guys. They
that,
came
I mean,
out to
but
LA.
nothing can compete with 90 Day Fiance. I'm sorry. That is the best show on
I
television.
don't know.
It
I
is.
need to watch
Harry
that.
Have
Jowsey
you
and
not
Two
seen
Out
90
Day
Day?
No.
might have something to say about that one.
90 Day Fiance, it is. Have you seen it?
Yeah, I know it.
It's
Yes.
it's
What is it?
just.
Two people
it
that
is.
don't know each other that are like.
Oh, just watch it.
Engaged?
It's
Okay.
it's wild. It's
Wild?
it's just one of those shows you just can't stop watching. You're just like, what is going on right now?
Oh
Like
my-
these people that come together, they get married. A lot of them are just trying to get their green card or whatever it is, and
Oh.
it's wild. They have 90 days, I think, to be in the United States until they figure out if they want to get married or not. And so it's them trying to like, it's just great. Anyway, sorry, but I
No,
sorry
you're
to
all
jump
fine,
ship, but
all
that's
good. Nope.
that's a great
Same,
show.
We're all in the same
Yeah,
genre,
no, it's-
guys.
Dude, everybody loves 90 Day Fiance. Should we get into the episode? Let's do it. Teen Vogue sends Lauren on an overnight errand that lands her in New York City and returns to LA only to find a major surprise from her past waiting for her.
Who?
Boom, boom, boom.
Who do you think, Frankie? Who do you
Santiago.
think? What? Who do you?
I said, who?
Was this
Santiago.
Jason?
This is
Jason.
this maybe
Lauren. Or
might
was
be
it someone else?
Jason. No, I think Jason had a little phone call and then he said he's back
Steven?
in town.
Oh, Jason.
Jason, I think he moved over to, well, from what I saw in the episode, because I wasn't around for this, but Jason was living back in LA and he surprised her with a little message on the phone and Lauren picked up, or didn't pick up. She heard the
I
message.
remember this.
She
I
heard the
remember
message
this.
and kind of was surprised by it. And
Yeah.
then you don't really know what's going to happen or not, but yeah.
Well, you were there for all of it. So
Yeah,
tell
you
us
tell
what really
us.
happened
it
behind
was
the
Jason
scenes.
on the
It was-
phone.
it was
That's
Jason.
real.
Yes,
That
it
was real.
Yeah.
So that I was telling Audrina, that's a conglomeration of a few things. The Lauren taking the dress to New York was a real thing that I'm sure we encouraged Teen Vogue to have her do. That was we originally had that in the pilot, so we shot that the scenes that have Heidi going to school and dropping out of school and getting ready for school and for her Bolthouse job. That's when I started, and that was all real. And then we cut in the "Let's go to New York" part. So there is a phone call at the end there. That's we'll call it a pickup. That's where we hide
I had the
the
pickup
things that are.
scenes.
So
Heidi was just in those episodes when I was watching them. Heidi was just so good.
I loved
She
when
was
I first
so
met
good, like,
Heidi.
she was
So I
just-
was
we
really
like
close
hit it
to her
off.
back then
Yeah.
too, right? So because of and I wasn't on the show yet
Mhm.
either,
She
but I
was
was so close to
incredible.
them, and I was close to her because my office where we had all our meetings was upstairs from Bolthouse because SBE owned the whole building,
Right.
And I was part of SB and Bolthouse. So Bolthouse was like kind of like the, we were like the A and B combo. Like if he did Thursday, I did Saturday. If he did Saturday, I did Monday. Like we would just make sure that the club was relevant enough. And we were on top of the world with that stuff. That's where Hyde came through from the beginning, right? Hyde, it started at that little spot. And I remember Heidi just getting her job, and I was like, dude, this is so cool. I have a friend here in the in the building. And but yeah, dude.
We'll talk about real. Like you can see right in those first 3 episodes, you're just Heidi just didn't. She's like, no, I don't want to go to school. Fit him. What's fit him? I just want to party. And you know,
that
watching that whole, I know.
I know. None of that was encouraged.
No, yeah, I know. And she was great.
And then she now had the plug at the clubs too, and she was doing this whole thing with Bolthouse and seeing her there, like I actually saw her work. Like she was working.
She actually did something.
There was work going on.
Yeah, there was work. Yeah. Your hair is completely unique, and products that address its specific needs, that's where Function of Beauty comes in. Function of Beauty is the world's first fully customizable hair care that creates individually filled shampoos, conditioners, styling, and treatment formulas based on your hair now and where you want it to go.
Function of Beauty offers over 54 trillion possible formulations. Every one of them is vegan and cruelty-free, and they never use sulfates or parabens. Here is how it works. First, take the quick hair quiz to build your hair profile and select 5 hair goals. Next, choose your color and fragrance, or you can just go completely dye or fragrance free. The product ships directly to your home, and my wife loves this stuff.
Say goodbye to generic hair care for good today. Go to functionofbeauty.com/hills to take your hair goals quiz, and you'll save 25% on your first order. Go to functionofbeauty.com/hills to let them know you heard about it from our show and get 25% off your first order.
That's functionofbeauty.com/hills to take your hair quiz and save 25% off your first order.
No, Bolthouse was it was supposed to be a real gig for her.
Right.
And it was supposed to be, it did allow us a way into clubs instead of just let's go to the club. If she's working at it, we could make a story out of it. But she, that part of the show isn't fake of her wanting to come to LA and enjoy her time here, and work and school weren't the priorities at that time of her life. She was really young too.
Yeah, she was.
Yeah, we had so much fun together.
Yep, we did.
Oh yeah, lots of dancing and
I know. It was when I was rewatching
no
it.
responsibilities.
You girls look like you were having a good time.
I just remember we didn't care really what we looked like. You guys would show up in the morning and you literally would wake us up and be like, hey, you guys have to be downstairs in 5 minutes. And you'd be like, okay. And we'd wake up last minute and just go downstairs with mascara on our faces. And we're like, I'm so hungover.
The glamour of television.
This is also the episode where Brian comes and surprises you, right? At work.
This one.
Yeah.
That's right.
Brian.
Andrew, could you remind me?
Okay, yeah, that wasn't, guys, just so you know, that wasn't a surprise. It was for Audrina. It wasn't for Brian.
Yeah,
we said go visit her.
I knew.
We put a mic on her. Audrina knew we were shooting with her that day.
But I didn't know Brian was coming.
No, you did not.
No, I just knew I was shooting.
So that was the part that you can see like honestly there's some stuff that you just really had to be surprised and be told in a certain way, and that was cool that Brian showed up and asked you out on a date. And
correct. All of that stuff it wasn't like, hey, Brian, asked her out on a date. It was like, is that something you want to do? Then this is the chance.
Well, and also Heidi and I, we wanted to do a double date and all hang out.
Yeah.
So
and here's the question. So what happened? Lights go down, camera goes down. Did you and Brian keep it going, or what?
No.
Where did
do you
it go?
remember this? I was at the front door and he tried to kiss me, and I think I just ran in. And that was the end of it.
I really have to leave now.
Brian.
You should have. Even I got a little kiss.
I remember it very well. Because it was very early on in the shooting.
Remind me, please.
I was there with Colin Nash. Do you
Okay,
remember Colin?
yes.
Yeah. I was there with Colin, and we were shooting it, and we're like, we need, you need a kiss at the end of a date because that's how you tell the story.
So
but nobody
walked me
wants
to the
to be, hey, go kiss.
Right.
No one wants to do that. So
Yeah.
we're hoping it happens, and we're hoping it happens. And I don't think it happened. And then so we talked to Brian. I think we might have talked to you too, but not about I think this kiss is going to happen.
Yeah.
We were both just hoping.
Just like walk her to the door.
Right.
Yeah.
We were just hoping if we talk to them long enough, maybe they'll figure out
Maybe they'll do
if we
it.
get a kiss, the night's over.
Right.
So we shot, I think there was a slight kiss.
Oh.
And then we also did it where he went inside. And that's what we showed is him
Oh, you showed him going
Yeah, that's why
inside.
Frankie has the question.
Yeah.
Because we
gosh.
don't show him leaving.
Oh, yeah, I
And
don't.
I'm guessing
On the
he's,
episode, you
he's
don't-
still there, I'm guessing. Yeah.
He's still there. He's
Oh, to
hasn't
keep
left.
it
Has he
guessing.
moved on? I
And
don't
then
think he
you
has
show
moved
me
on.
the next scene with Heidi, like, so what happened last night?
Correct.
I think I have
Over.
to call him one of these days and just be like, "Yo, B, I need you here on
We
this podcast."
FaceTimed him before.
Yeah?
I think we all did.
Well, we need to ask him to come on the podcast because
Brian?
yeah, it could be cool to have his side of the story of what really happened. Maybe he didn't want to kiss you, right?
Yeah.
No, I mean, you guys,
mean,
you know,
come
you'd
on.
gone out
Come
on
on.
a date.
Hey,
You'd gone
hey,
out on
hey.
a date at a.
No, you heard him. Well, I watched the episode. You heard him saying in the episode that she's like, I just want Audrina to come along. I just want it to be just because I think he was telling Jordan, he's like, I just want to hang out with Audrina and, just always bring Audrina around. He definitely wanted the kiss. I know that.
You
So-
wanted the little
Well, that's
Audrina
that.
But
makeup sesh.
He wanted something. That's for
Yeah.
damn sure.
He should have just taken you to a talk.
Oh, I'm not just going to talk.
Frankie.
Oh, my God.
Frankie. Oh, my God.
Maybe he would have been
Frankie.
lucky if he would have been on a talk. The talk always works for you.
I was also on the date. We went to the Korean barbecue place.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how real was
How was the date?
which one? Oh,
It made
oh.
it to the show. I mean, we have
Yeah.
lots of dates that didn't
Did
make
he
it
get
to the
an
show.
apple martini? I
He
remember him.
did. He got
Yeah.
some drink that the waiter said that women order.
Yes,
Of course,
it
this,
was like a
this is a
big, like,
previous
thing.
time, of course,
And I
think
years
I got
and
him-
years ago.
when you were allowed to say that. What
Yeah.
about as far as Jason Waller? Like, how authentic was that with him coming on? I mean, was that something that you guys sort of pushed along the production, or did he just randomly leave her a message and you guys caught it and were like, "Hey, put that on the show"?
There's not a lot of catching. The
Right,
catching is
yeah.
real is arguments and
Right.
and fights or
Right.
whatever. There are moments where we're hoping there's a confrontation or not anything physical, of course. I think we knew that he was back. I know that I don't know where their relationship was at the time, but we knew as a story we wanted to see the beginning of that.
Mhm.
And I'm remembering, I think one of you had mentioned, they might have already been a couple at that time.
Mhm.
So are we watching Lauren do some acting? We're watching her hear the recording and we're editing it so that it feels like it's new.
Right.
You know? Because I'm pretty, we had Jason on the machine, you
Right.
know? And they were having a real relationship. It wasn't like he was coming up and going, can I be on your TV show or
Right.
anything?
Yep.
Is there anything that didn't make the show out of all these dates that you were like, oh, or you wish would have made it?
No, we would do, and shows today don't do this as much, but we would be shooting a lot of things that weren't making air because we're trying to discover story. And that's why we would go to hide, 3 or 4 times, but we might only use one
Yeah.
of those times. I don't have, some hidden moment that was hilarious. I feel like there was a Jordan fight we didn't use because it came out of nowhere and it didn't
Makes sense.
yeah, it was at a club and it was like, I think we shot it. There was, we had a moment, I'm trying to think where I think it was all club stuff. Yeah, there isn't some, secret Heidi Spencer moment we didn't do. Oh, we did. There was a party of theirs I don't think we played. It was do you guys know about his jellyfish? Is that a
Oh
thing?
yeah, the jellyfish.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. I think they
loved his
filmed
jellyfish.
that. That aired.
Did it air? Okay.
Yeah, it's in one of the later episodes. Or it's in actually your birthday episode that we
The best
watched.
was when he got that graffiti artist to come paint the mural. I
That
love
party was way
Hollywood.
longer.
Yeah, that party was different because
Yeah.
there was also there was that part. Then there was a different show when we bring Kim Kardashian on the show, and it wasn't like it was Kim Kardashian coming. She was just like a friend of ours and like his sister, but I think she was coming through just like
Yeah,
That wasn't
back
on the
then,
show,
I
though,
didn't
was it? It
realize
it was on the
that
show
those
and
were-
it didn't make
I
it.
remember her coming up to me, and I think she watched an episode where I may have said something about you, and she came up to me, and I remember her saying like, Brody Jenner is my brother, and I was like, oh,
This was on
I
the
didn't know
Hills?
you had
No
a
way.
sister. But
Damn.
yeah, that didn't air.
Damn, we got her for cheap. I like that.
You don't remember that?
I mean, I
This
do
was
kind of
so
like shit.
long
You'd have to
ago,
pay her
like,
like
It was
so
$1
long
million
ago.
an appearance on that thing. Now, shit, we got her.
I know.
Got her back in the day.
Let's find that clip if we can.
Yeah.
Right here.
Hi, Olivia. How are you? Wait, what is this? These are our jellyfish. This is really cool.
We're the only people in America to have jellyfish.
No way.
Yeah.
What are you doing for Memorial Day?
Don't know yet. Just chilling.
We're going to Vegas.
Funny.
Deleted
It's out.
scenes.
It's out somewhere. Like we.
Yeah,
Oh,
I know
yeah.
for sure
It's in there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
There's a lot of deleted
Find it.
scenes too.
Yeah,
They're all
yeah.
on
It's a
the
20. It's a
DVDs.
21-minute
She's
show.
blowing me
Pretty
away.
Yeah.
much anytime that I was on like filming, it was like deleted.
Poor
Like,
Not
Frankie.
intentional.
Always
Sincerely,
intentional.
No. It's all the you're trying to do sort of 2.5 stories per episode.
Yeah.
Often, both of those have to be cast members. I mean, the women, excuse me. So
Yeah.
it's like what then became that third story was usually up in the air, and that was always something we were trying to figure out.
It's got to be difficult to do something like this. You know,
It's a
gotta
lot of
be-
time, It's just you're spending a lot of time editing and making sure the show makes sense and has you can find some connection in it too for the viewer.
It's all
So
about
many
the
moving
viewer at
parts.
the end. Like, what does the viewer want? And then you as a producer just gotta go nail it
Yeah.
because it's.
I feel like the club scenes would have been really tough to film because there's so much noise and moving around
you
and
there?
everybody's. I feel like
It's a
that would be
headache.
Yeah,
like that.
Andrew,
The
were you
club
there
would
at
be a
the one
nightmare.
scene we were filming and some girl at Ledoux like threw the cup of ice at Lauren's head? I think, and then Heidi and I ran. There was so many like.
Was it upstairs?
Well, we chased her upstairs.
okay,
Me
yeah.
and Heidi.
Was it a birthday?
We
Was it somebody's?
literally, like,
No.
chased her.
I don't know that I don't.
I
don't know.
remember that. I remember, but that was a little bit more like when Doug was already part of the.
It didn't really get too wild and like until third season, right?
Well, that's where it blew up for sure.
Third season, yeah.
Yeah, but the first season was just we were trying to find, is this a story? Does it make sense? And you look at these first episodes, it's like the story is take a dress to New York and enroll in fashion school, and then it turns into, what the Hills became of seasons sort of
It's
3,
like
4, and 5.
When the guys came in, I feel like then it really like got really good. Like there was more relationship dynamics and drama and confrontations
Right.
and arguments and like, does he like me? Does he not like me? What do I say?
It was all. I
that.
think the guys brought in a larger world to tell stories in. At least that's how I saw it.
Yeah.
So when you guys came on, when Justin Bobby was there, it was like, okay, how do those relationships work, and what are the real moments? Are you really attracted to them? Are they not? Are we just going to have to edit a date and make it seem like you liked each other, or not?
Yeah.
No, that's an interesting way of looking at it. I hadn't thought of it that way.
And I know
Sincerely.
with Justin, it was really hard for him with the cameras and he just really didn't care, but then he did care.
Yeah,
Like,
I remember
was
him.
like-
I
He
don't
didn't care
care.
so much that he cared. He was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember him
Yeah.
leaning.
Once you actually watched the episodes, he saw how and I even noticed things whenever you watch yourself on TV, you notice things you say or do that you don't think of, and you're like, oh my gosh, like the burp and all that.
I mean, you can't be proud of that moment. Right?
No,
Yeah, he was. I feel like he didn't care at
I'm
that
saying you
point.
can't be proud of it today. Like watching, going back and be like, would I have ever
I'm-
burped like
I don't think he. I mean, I don't know.
I don't-
Does he?
I
I don't
don't
think he
know.
really cares, does he? Nah, he's still pretty. Nah, he's not looking back at that moment, going, "God, I wish I didn't burp on the hills."
I mean, dude, he wouldn't drink on the show.
no. Well, this is just his
For a
past
reason.
season. Back then,
well,
it was a
because
whole
he's
different
a
story.
little
No,
bitch.
because he didn't want to like drink on the show to not create those kind of moments, probably.
Yeah,
Well,
because he didn't
And
like
that's why
how
the
he
show got
looked.
canceled, because he was censoring himself too much, not being himself. Because as soon as the show ended, as soon as he would go off and party and do
Yeah,
whatever he's
without
going to do.
us.
But on camera, when we're filming a reality show, he wouldn't drink or do anything.
He also
so-
had a girlfriend the whole time.
well, that's another that he didn't want to show on the show. I mean, that's
Well,
he
he
wasn't.
shared
I
it
feel
with
like
us.
he
Lindsay was
wasn't
on
being
it.
At
very-
Thanksgiving, right? And then that was it.
I feel like he wasn't being
Right? She
very-
only came to Thanksgiving?
He was
There's
showing his
so
best.
much-
He was showing his best self 24/7, and
Did
not
you
like.
watch any of the last?
I did watch
New
some
Beginnings?
of the new show.
Tell us what you
What did
think.
you
No,
think?
this isn't the place. Is
Please
it?
Okay.
tell us what you think.
Here's what I like. We were talking about this
Yeah, let's hear it.
earlier,
I want to hear it.
which is okay.
This is
which
the place. Let's hear it. We got to hear it.
I can see that too, guys.
It was
which
good.
is
Yeah,
that show. Your new show was an hour, right?
yeah.
And the old Hills was half an hour, and that means about 21 minutes.
21 minutes. Yeah.
And that's a different beast. You're telling stories quicker, they're faster. Even the moments that really pull your heartstrings, you're not looking at your watch. And I'm not saying I did that for the new show. I of course watched the new show because I worked on the original one. It was fascinating to me that so many of the original cast members were coming back, that it was, theoretically where you guys were actually in your lives.
Mhm.
And that was totally interesting to me. It didn't pull me in. And I think also reality TV has, evolved a lot. Not
Mhm.
saying that show didn't evolve. I'm just saying what we think of as real now, you're not running around wondering, the Real Housewives, was that
Yeah.
real?
Right.
I mean, are you?
You're
I
not.
mean, no.
You're not.
No.
No, I think
Right.
because the Hills and Laguna brought up like, how did they get that shot? How's that? That is really pretty for
Mhm.
I just caught it,
Yeah.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
There you
so
go.
I haven't watched them all, and I apologize right here and now.
Please.
I was
I'm
gonna ask
glad.
you-
Anybody
I was
asking
gonna
about
ask
that
you-
show,
You
I'm like,
don't
just
need
watch
to.
the first run of The Hills, not the second one.
No, I was actually going to ask you if
We
you
missed
thought
the
that
old production
the show
team.
needed more Frankie in it, but you didn't watch
Yeah,
it.
well, the ones
Well,
I saw did. Yeah, of course.
Frank the Tank.
I was
Frank,
surprised
yeah,
it just
more
wasn't
Frank the
called
Tank.
Frankie the Hills.
Frankie does The Hills.
I literally begged MTV to like let me be the narrator, but that's why they didn't hire me because I can't even pronounce that word. But no, I actually like really thought that there was a lot more there for like for me to show, but I was maybe I don't know. I was a little disappointed sometimes in the show, but sometimes it was like the show was great. I just being on the show and not being showed a lot, like that's where I was like, like the
Mhm.
show's great and I'm not in it.
That's
Or
yeah.
a little bit in it, and like it was just like it was for the right moments, I guess, which that's what it always was. But I think that with that said, I wanted to ask you one big question. So the thing is, I do this thing in every episode where we're gonna take a shot, and it's the confession shot, right? Like I'm gonna ask a question, you don't have to answer it,
Okay.
but if you don't answer it, you have to take a shot,
Okay.
and if you do answer it, you have to take a shot.
Okay,
So
great.
it's a win-win.
Win-win. Yeah.
So, who was your favorite character on the show?
Can I say they're in the room right now? Is that close enough?
No,
I
I
no,
want the
okay.
answer.
Obviously.
I want the answer,
I-
baby.
it's favorite as a producer means lots of different things. I'm not watching as a viewer.
Who was your favorite character as a viewer when you really watched the show?
Oh, well,
Who were
I
you
mean,
like,
I
damn,
thought
I loved Audrina.
I do love Audrina. I loved Whitney and
Yeah.
Heidi and Lauren as well. It as much as Sex and the City was Sarah Jessica Parker's,
But Miranda was my favorite.
understandably,
Wow.
The Hills was
Frankie.
Lauren's. It was her voice at the
Yeah.
top of the show. It's like choosing which child or sibling do you like the most, Frank?
Everybody
so I'm
knows
gonna.
what.
It seems like a shot to head for me. How's that?
Frankie, who's your
That's
favorite
all I got.
kid?
Okay, man. So then you gotta take your shot.
You
You
gotta
gotta
Okay.
want the answer, man.
Cheers. That was a good answer. Good answer. So
Salute.
Lauren was the favorite one, right? That's what
Well,
it
you're
sounds
Don't
like.
saying
do
is
that.
That's what it
guys.
sounded like to
Don't
me.
do that. Don't do that.
That's what it sounded like to me.
Yeah.
Which is that's a good answer.
yes.
Thanks.
My
Well-
favorite character was Jem Bunny.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, Jen Bunny.
Chin Bunny. What
Jen
the
Bunny?
hell?
Can
You
we
know
all
what,
say
though?
that?
Guys, it was a
Like-
joke.
No.
Nobody caught it?
My God.
Woo.
I know Brody caught that
Isn't
one.
she like a doctor right now? She's like, she's something, or she's married a doctor or something, right? I heard something.
Maybe.
That's a name I hadn't
Who
heard
were
in a
your
while.
favorite?
Jen
Yeah,
Bunny.
Jen
Yeah,
Bunny.
we love shooting with Jen. Well, Frankie, who was your favorite? Oh, you said Jen Bunny. Can I ask you?
No, that was a joke.
Then you'll have to think.
know
Brody,
who
can
it
I
is.
ask you?
Yeah,
Who's-
absolutely. You can. I mean, I got to be completely honest, I would have to say Spencer. I mean, Spencer, I'm gonna just he was. I thought he brought such a interesting dynamic to the show, and he was the guy that you love to hate. I mean, he would say the craziest things. He's built for reality television. I mean, when you watch him from like a producer, because obviously we worked on Princess of Malibu, and you know, he was so aware of what he was doing on that show. I remember when before we stopped being friends, he said to me, he said, "Brody, I want to be the most hated person in America. Like that's what I want to be." He like totally manifested what ended up pretty much happening to him.
Yeah.
And so that's, you know, for me, when I look back at some of the episodes that he's in, I mean, he's just so good at what
But
he does.
He is. He's like a story machine.
He's
You go
good.
ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say something, but was he the villain or was he made the villain? Because I'm gonna say something. In the Karate Kid, I never thought Johnny was the villain. I always was like, yo, dude, this other dude comes into his town, steals his girl, beats up his boy, and throws water over him in the shower, and then they made him look like he was the worst guy
No, but
ever. He wouldn't beat his ass up. Like, I'm glad he did. Like,
There was one moment that was pretty bad. It was when didn't he tell Heidi they kicked Heidi out of the car or something like that. He said, "Get out of the car." What was that?
That was
like
pretty cold-hearted.
It was some cold. He had some cold heart, but you got to. I mean, when we talk about what's real, what's fake, I mean, I know for a fact that those moments in the show were talked about between the two of them
Well,
for
that's the thing.
sure.
They've
Like that
worked-
was.
They're like a team.
Yeah, that's
They were a team. They
superpower.
wanted to
Yeah.
create, and you know, from the viewer, they were. I mean, they're really thinking this is going down, and that's when he became really hated. I would say it's like, oh, he's such an asshole. But Heidi and him were in it. They knew exactly what was going on. He wasn't really throwing her out of the car, so
Yeah.
he made himself look a lot worse.
He knew what he was giving us, the producers,
Right.
to do what we wanted with it. I remember this. We were shooting behind Bolthouse, and he pulls up in that.
That's it. I was there.
Yeah,
but
that
I was
scene.
actually in the office
Watching
looking
through
down.
the
that's
window.
He pulls up in the BMW,
BMW,
and then Heidi's like, "I took a pregnancy test."
Right.
And before we shot that, so I forgot what season this was, but obviously some shows had aired, and he was like, "You know, I was walking down the street over here, and some guy passed me on the street in his car and said, 'Hey, you asshole!'"
Yeah,
And then
exactly.
and he was kind of bragging about it. Like, I'm
Mhm.
not saying you want
Yeah.
strangers to yell at you out of their cars, but he was realizing that this is this is my way in.
Yeah.
Again, I don't want to speak for him at all, but
Yeah,
I remember that happening.
I think that if you see his story was about him falling in love with a girl that everybody didn't want her to be with him. So he had to go and own it and say, hey, I'm not gonna let people just not let me be with the girl I'm in love with. And he was in love with her. Like, look at it now, by the way. It all went full circle and they're still together. 2 kids, one baby,
One on the
Gunner, and
way.
then a future one. And which is to give them credit, like they stuck through it all, and that's how much he loved her. Because a lot of people would have been like, dude, this is too much drama. They're like I'm getting hated by everyone. I can't
Yeah.
take it anymore.
Well,
He
Heidi
embraced it.
loved him too. I remember it was like love at first sight. And
They
she
embraced
was
each
like,
other.
that was her goal. She's like, I'm going to marry that man. He's going to be with me. And she made it happen.
Yeah, I remember that
And so
too.
so for that, to me, like I kind of have to see it the other way for me to say
Well,
like,
you know what happened was also pre The Hills, pre all this, Kevin Federline and Britney Spears moved next door to me. So Spencer was hanging out, and so was I. We were hanging out with Kevin Federline a lot. And he saw what was going on with that. And he saw that Kevin Federline was in the press all the time, and everybody was hating on him, but it just made him more and more famous and more and more famous. And that's kind of where Spencer was like, you know what? Shit, I'm going to be that guy. I want to be the guy that everybody hates, and it's just going to, he's going to get more and more famous.
embrace
That's kind of exactly. He embraced it, and he created a lot when he wasn't that
because
bad of a
when you
guy.
know him, like
Yeah, he's not a
just
bad
with
guy.
me personally, like I said, I don't speak for anyone else. Everyone has their own moments with people, but with me, he's always been really kind. He's always looked out for me. He's always tried to look out after me, whatever it's been, and he's always called me and checked up on me, even through the pandemic, even through he always cared. So for me to say this here, I know everybody else doesn't have the same experiences, but he never did anything wrong to me. So I can't really vilify him in that way.
Well, my favorite was Heidi because she's carefree, she's fun, she's outgoing, and she's real. And she just, when she walks into a room, she really does light it up. And even these last 2 seasons of filming, she really brought it, and we all had the best time together.
Yeah, a lot of laughs with them, and
Yeah.
That's
like
nice.
they
Yeah.
would bring. Well, my mama said that you always had to be your own biggest fan. My favorite was myself. Andrew, I'm
Was
just
it?
kidding.
No, I get it. I get it.
I feel like you took me to
He got real
Look at
quiet.
Ross,
I'm
super
just
silent.
kidding.
Crickets
I
all of a
really-
sudden.
Oh my
really-
God.
No,
Wow.
I have to be very honest. My favorite forever, and I'm so, as a producer, if I would have been the producer of the show, and I would have made this happen, I would have always said that my favorite people were on the show were Brody and Audrina. And it was
Aw.
because they just really had something, and you never get to see the end of them. And they should have been the couple, and they should have been the people like that, like that power couple that could have been. I always saw it as a producer, right? Because they just had such great chemistry. I see it on the outside, and people didn't see what I see with them, like at our own parties, that nobody sees it, the way that they would like hang out with each other, and they laugh, and they like stayed up all night, and they would drink, and it was real. Like that shit was like, they really love to talk to each other. Like they really love to like really like they share like all their like, but it ended there. It was just like the best friendship, but it could have been so much more in my eyes for the show. So yeah, you guys are my favorite people on the show from day
Aw.
one.
It's
Well,
very,
cheers
that's-
to that.
Yeah,
And you guys-
exactly.
I think I'm drunk.
Cheers,
That's why I
man.
said that.
You're getting real sentimental now.
It's the truth. It's the truth
I
speaking,
love
Frankie.
You. Look, are you is that a tear?
Yeah.
Tissue. Well, Andrew,
I'm
thank you so much for coming on. And I feel like the fans, just with you being on, you've cleared up a lot of things, and just to hear from one of the main producers that created The Hills.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here, and it's really lovely talking with you guys again, sincerely. I just want to add to Frankie's thing. When you guys were doing scenes together, we didn't feel, when we were editing them between Audrina and Brody, we never felt like, oh, we've got to try to make them look like they like each other.
Right.
You know, that was what we did in other dates.
Mhm.
For you guys, you could tell you were enjoying each other and the experience. I just
Yeah.
wanted to add that. But
Yeah,
anyway,
we always
thank
have-
you very
Yeah, no, we
much.
did.
It's
Thanks.
great to be here.
Thank you, Andrew. Really appreciate it. Thanks for coming.
Well, it's that time where we like say goodbye.
Thank you guys so much for listening. Follow, rate, and review Was It Real? The Hills Rewatch. Wherever you listen to your podcast, if you like to watch us, check it out on YouTube.
Thank you, Andrew.
Nicely done. Nicely done.
Thanks for watching this video, guys. Be sure to start with the pilot episode and catch all of our episode recaps.